Welcome to Rob John's Lair, where tonight my arena is open. The Patriots are flocking in, ready to watch some combat, Daggerheart style. So without further ado, let's meet our four brave adventurers who will be doing battle against a horde of undead. Firstly, there's Nora the Sorcerer. She's a wild-born fawn. Then we have Ham the Seraph. He's a sea-born simian. And lastly, there's Opel, a warrior of ridgeborne giant ancestry. The trio barely have time to ready their weapons when a horn emits from the arena. The four gates open and out come their opponents. First, a shuffling group of skeleton dredges, 3 from the east door and 3 from the west. To the north, 3 skeleton warriors emerge, dirty and with rusty blades. Finally, from the south, a brawny zombie, angry and ready to feast. Opel, the warrior, takes the spotlight and acts first. She does not hesitate and runs forward to attack the first skeleton dredges with her greatsword. She gets an 11 on her hope die and an 8 on her fear die. She adds +2 for her strength trait, giving a total of 21 with hope. 21 beats the skeleton's difficulty rating, so the attack is success. She marks the hope on her sheet. Now for the damage. All of these characters are level 1 and their proficiency is 1. The damage of a greatsword is d10 plus 3, so Opel rolls 1d10 and adds 3. She rolls a 3, but the greatsword has a trait where you can roll an additional damage die and take the highest. This time it's an 8. So Opel adds 3 for a total of 11 damage. Now the skeleton dredges are classed as minions. A minion has 1 hit point, so the first dredge is dead. Now, for every 4 damage a PC deals to the dredge, an additional dredge within range is also defeated. Being a giant, Opel's reach with her sword is very close, meaning she can easily take out the other 2 dredges with a single swing of her sword. Now Nora wants a piece of the action. She decides she wants to move to higher ground to get a better shot at the skeleton warriors with her dual staff. The crate is within range, but it's quite a climb up onto the crate. Normally the DM might say that Nora needs to make an agility check to climb up to it. However, Nora is a fawn, which means she can comfortably leap up to close range, and she does just that. She aims her dual staff at the nearest skeleton. She's also using her Deadly Aim experience. With her bonuses for her trait and experience, she rolls a whopping 25, but with fear. The DM gains the fear and will be able to take a turn in a minute, but first, Nora resolves her damage. The dual staff deals 1d6 plus 3 damage, and so Nora totals 5. The DM now compares this to the skeleton's damage thresholds and can see that it is enough to deal major damage, and the skeleton marks 2 hit points. And because Nora rolls with fear, the DM gets to act. First he spotlights the remaining skeleton dredges. He spends a fear to activate their group attack action. They move into close range with Ham, surrounding him. Then the DM makes an attack roll, adding the dredge's modifier of -1. DMs always roll a d20. He scores a 17 in total. This beats Ham's evasion. The dredges deal 1 damage per minion, so Ham takes 3 damage. He compares this to his damage thresholds and can see that this is minor damage and he should mark 1 hit point. However, Ham decides to use an armor slot and reduces the damage by 1 threshold to 0 in this case. The DM is not finished. He spends another fear, bring his total down to 2 and activates the brawny zombie. He wants to move the zombie within close range. However, the zombie has a passive feature called slow, which means the DM must put a token on the zombie's stat block. He cannot act this turn, but he will be able to act next time he is spotlighted by removing the token. Still not done, the DM spends another fear to spotlight the skeleton warrior who Nora blasted earlier. The DM describes how the warrior manages to pull himself up onto the crate that Nora is on. He can't act this turn because of the effort, but is ready for next time. Now the DM passes play back to the players. Ham wastes little time trying to smash the dredges surrounding him with his arcane gauntlets. He gets a 9 with fear. That's enough to beat the dredges' difficulty, and just like Opel earlier, Ham is able to take all 3 out with a single attack. The DM now has 2 fear, and it's his turn to act. And of course, he spotlights the skeleton warrior again, who has just climbed onto the crate with Nora. Using his rusty blade, the skeleton scores a total of 14. Nora's evasion is only 10, so the skeleton rolls for damage, 1d8 plus 4, and he deals 7 damage in total. This is within Nora's major damage threshold. She decides to spend 1 hope to use her Rune Ward ability. This trinket allows her to roll a d8 and decrease the damage by this amount. She rolls a 2. Not much, but it's enough to reduce the damage to minor, and Nora marks 1 hit point. Now the DM spends 1 fear to spotlight the brawny zombie again. This time, it can act. The DM removes the token from its stat block and describes how the zombie pushes itself to sprint within far range. And Ham looks very nervous as play goes back to the players. Opal does not like the look of the brawny zombie sneaking up behind her friend, so she rushes over, swinging her greatsword. She removes 1 hope to use her pick on someone your own size experience. She rolls double 9. A double means it's a critical hit, so she gains a hope, clears a stress, and deals extra damage. She starts with the highest possible value of her damage die, which is a 10. And then makes her normal damage roll, adding it to that total. She rolls an 8 and scores a total of 21 damage. This is within the brawny zombie's severe threshold, so the zombie marks 3 hit points. Nora is still battling the skeleton on the crate as she takes the spotlight. Again, she attacks with her jewel staff. In total, she gets a 14 with hope. She marks a hope and then rolls damage. She deals 4 damage, which is within the skeleton's major threshold, and the skeleton goes down like a sack of potatoes. Or a sack of dusty old bones is probably more appropriate. At this point, the DM really wants the brawny zombie to get revenge for Opal's critical attack, so he decides to spend his 1 remaining fear to interrupt the players and give the zombie the spotlight. Don't forget that the zombie has the slow passive feature, so again the DM puts a token on the zombie's stat block and tells the players that the zombie starts lunging towards Opal. As play returns to the players, Ham decides to take advantage of the zombie's slowness. He attempts to let loose with his arcane gauntlets, but his roll is poor and Ham only scores a 6 with fear. The DM takes a fear and immediately spotlights the zombie again, removing the token on its card. It rolls a 19 against Opal, which is well above her evasion score. The zombie deals 1d12 plus 3 damage, scoring 9. This is within Opal's major threshold, so she marks an armour slot to reduce it to minor, and also marks 1 hit point. The DM also uses the zombie's Rip and Tear ability, marking 1 stress to restrain Opal and cause her to mark 2 stress. Now the spotlight is given back to the players. Opal decides she does not want to be held in a zombie's vice-like grip and asks the DM how can she escape. The DM says she can clear the restrained condition by rolling a strength check against the zombie's difficulty, which is 10. Opal rolls a 12, but with fear. She has escaped the zombie, but play goes back to the DM. The zombie is relentless, and the DM describes how it prepares to attack her again, adding the token back to his card, ready for next time. Spending 2 fear, the DM also activates the other 2 skeletons, and they both sprint up to where Opal, Ham, and the zombie are doing battle. Nora can't watch this happen. She leaps from the crate and lands right behind the skeletons. She spends a hope to activate her Rain of Blades domain ability. She conjures magic blades that strike out against all targets within very close range, which is the skeletons and the zombie. She gets an 18 with fear, enough to hit all her enemies. She rolls a 3 on her damage dice and deals 5 damage. This is major damage for the 2 skeletons and minor for the zombie. The DM takes the spotlight. Again the zombie acts. The token is removed from his stat block as he makes another attempt to crush Opel. He scores a 7, which is a miss. Ham now takes the spotlight. He uses one of his prayer dice to gain hope equal to the amount, in this case 2. He now has 4 hope total and spends 3 of them to initiate a tag team attack with Opel. They describe how Opel lunges with her sword while Ham simultaneously sends a gauntlet at the zombie's face. They both make separate action rolls, and Opel gets a 13 with hope while Ham gets a 7 with hope. They choose to use Opel's roll, and they both gain a hope. The attack is a hit, and they both roll damage and add them together. In total, they deal 19 damage, which is in the zombie's severe threshold, and it marks 3 hit points. After the success of Nora's Rain of Blades last time, she wants to finish the job by activating it again, spending her last remaining hope to do so. This time she rolls an 11 with hope. Nice, she has her hope back, and it's enough to hit all 3 enemies. She scores 5 for damage, which is enough to put all 3 enemies down. The battle has been won by the PCs, and they barely broke a sweat. I imagine they will be richly rewarded for their prowess in the combat arena. Bards will be singing their names in the tavern tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more combat examples for Daggerheart, let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe to see all my videos. Thanks for watching.